Hello again. Continuing the Thinker playthrough, still on day 1. Okay, that's right, I got the body down. Don't think I've
The rotting man lies on his side with his eyes looking straight through you. The belt is still around his neck. His body is supine and open to intrusion by autopsy. The lieutenant adjusts his glasses and takes a deep breath.
Tell me something, dead man.
Shoot, Looney Rooney.
Which was it that killed you then? Love or communism?
Huh?
You said love killed you, but when you fell down you said it was communism.
You're misquoting me, Rooney. I said communism killed me. Love did me in.
You really need to learn the difference, buddy. This is embarrassing.
Okay.
Come back later, Corpo. Amuse yourself with my frank manners and my memento mori features. If possible, also, see me in your dreams.
I thought we decided to leave it to processing. Let's not turn this into some kind of circus.
Damn it, this is turning into some sort of mega puzzle. Okay, so you can sneak out of your room maybe, after he's gone to sleep.
Come on, officer. You know what a field autopsy is. You've done 100 of them.
What you do know is, at 18.9 kilometers, the dormant shield volcano, Corpus Mundi, is the world's highest summit, and the failure of the 38 single, Epuis Descent, to crack the top 20 was the death knell of disco. But what a field autopsy is, you have no idea.
Thank you again, Encyclopedia, for your useless knowledge. Clap your gloved hands. Let's get in there. Well, at least I have gloves.
There truly is a time for everything, even for yellow gardening gloves. However, they are lacking hygienically. I suggest you get in there in limited capacity.
I'm okay with that. Alright.
I'll ask you when I need you to. For the most part, maybe I should handle the contact and you take notes?
We just filled this in, right? Show him the red field autopsy form in your ledger.
That's right.
Try to remove the dead. Okay, so do I want to do the field autopsy now? Or I could go back to the car and kind of want to see what's in the like fancy writing that's in the headlights, because on my ledger, because I still technically don't have Agnes' name. 2 different things have called him Harry, so I think he's Harry, but that could just not, like, that could just be a coincidence. Okay, let's just go ahead with this. Open your ledger at the field autopsy form. Wait, can you go this whole game without ever figuring out protagonist's name? Be kind of funny.
The dead man stares in silence as you crack open the ledger. The bright red paper is covered in boxes and lists, describing the condition of his skin and organs in 3 parts. Above those, an 11-field info form needs filling out first. It begins with:
Begin. 1. Assistant.
That's you.
It's true, I don't have the name. Only the first question, and I don't know the answer.
Not an energetic start to an autopsy, I agree.
Pig's messed up. Kuno feels pity.
I forgot about him still being there.
Just leave it empty, officer.
Hopefully we can go back and fill it in if I ever find out my name. Leave it empty.
The corpse lies there, indifferent to your retrograde amnesia. The next box says,
Coroner's case number.
KK57 0803 0815.
So KK is probably Kim Kitsuragi. Maybe dates or something? Oh, 57 is probably... 57 is Kim's precinct. Probably at least one of those things is a date. Nope, wait. It's March. 03 could be March. And 808 could be the day. I think it's year 51 though, and I guess that would probably be in there. I don't know.
KK equals Kim Kitsuragi. 57 equals Precinct 57, followed by his date 0803 and time of arrival 0815 on the scene. He's indexed the case after himself, not you.
No, I guess I didn't have to figure out all that stuff. Okay, so it's 0803 March, so it's... I thought it was year 51 instead of... I don't know. Maybe it's 5108? I don't know.
That's because he doesn't want to bring up the messy question of your initials.
Should I be difficult? Yeah. Shouldn't we file the coroner's case under me? Technically, I arrived at the scene before you. Of course, then we also don't know when protagonist arrived at the scene.
And what would that make the alphanumeric?
I have no idea.
I do. KK57 0503 0815.
Wait. That switched it to 0503, whereas before it was 0803.
Next,
Name.
NA. Next,
Date of birth.
NA.
Age.
Roughly 50.
Right, roughly 50.
The corpse looks ageless, like meat on a hook.
Race.
Mondial.
Fair to olive-skinned, from the Isola of Mwindi. This is as vague as it gets. You might as well say whitish.
That's fair. Write it down.
The pudgy mess of curdled meat looks neither mondial nor anything other.
Sex.
Fucky, fucky!
The little monster exclaims energetically.
Male.
Pigs can have sex.
You can write all of those things. Male.
Nor does he look male, with his pregnant belly and indistinguishable face.
Date of death.
We're still going with March 4th, 51.
Okay. So the first... Okay, so... That's why I was confused by the 51 before. the year apparently isn't included. Probably because before the notebooks were... I guess it's just assumed that it's the same year when it's organized. Seems weird not to include it though, just in case it like got out of proper filing. Shadow does not look good. Right, 04, 03, 51.
What else? 9. Body identified by is non-applicable. 10. Case number is the same as the coroner's case.
Oh, that's easy.
KK 57 0503 0815 listens motionless, with the cargo belt still around his neck. Only one box remains.
Evidence of treatment. That's when we actually have to explain what happened.
None. At least not after the initial examination.
What exactly is treatment anyway?
Interfering with the body's position or wounds post-mortem.
I'm not so sure. Didn't the footprints look like he was carried over?
They'd have to have incapacitated and carried him over. This man was more than a match for untrained dog walkers.
He places his hand on the dead man's chest as if in preparation.
Your central nervous system recognizes this gesture. It's the stations of the breath. Ecclesiastic, religious in nature, a holdout from pre-DeLorean burial rites. It takes him 2 seconds to perform. Then,
We should start the post-mortem.
So I say he's doing a little something for the dead
the
body.
corpse cannot feel Kim's hand on his chest. It no longer meaningfully interacts with its surroundings. A thicket of boxes and lists on red copier paper tries to answer why.
External examination summary.
Clothes. The deceased wears armored boots and white briefs. The make of the briefs is Babrodine, I think. Let's see.
He turns the body onto its side to check the underwear label. That's thorough.
See, it's happening.
Babrodine, yes. Inexpensive. Size M. Color white.
The disappointment is palpable. The red-haired thing was expecting something more lurid.
Write it down.
The boots are ceramic, vitreous enamel. They are fused to his skin from blood flowing downward post-mortem. Removal of the boots is left for processing.
They're not gonna make it to processing.
It would be clever of you to omit the boots altogether, sire. If you are to keep them for yourself, as you ought to, you have deserved them more than anyone else.
When am I gonna get them?
Patience. After the autopsy, before the body is taken away, there will be a window of opportunity. After the lieutenant has gone to sleep. I hope this has helped you, my liege.
Omit the boots.
The boot has a serial number. It's E50.100.100. The lines between the plates are in the shape of the alphanumerical. The number is purposefully concealed by the design.
Write it down.
Tattoos.
He stands up, feet planted on either side of the body.
The upper torso is covered in a single, continuous tattoo resembling a microelectronical circuit board. It reaches from the right shoulder to the heart. The ink is blue and white. The assistant has a color photograph of the markings to be added to the case files as document A1. The photo is taken on the scene using a Trigat Mini. The deceased has a belt for airlifting cargo around his neck, tied with a hangman's knot. Color yellow. Length 3 meters. There is a buckle on the other end. Well-nourished, athletically built, measuring 1.8 meters. Generally consistent with age, about 50. Preservation is good. Ambient temperature below freezing. Body hair is light brown. Distribution is consistent with age. The deceased had male pattern baldness. Hair is combed back, short.
He kneels to get a better look. Touch the corpse's hair before moving on.
The hair under your latex fingers feels cold to touch, wet.
Stroke his hair gently.
The stench is suffocating. Strands of dark brown hair start sticking to the latex of the glove, like thread off a ragdoll's head.
Ew, I should not have done that.
There must be brilliantine in there. He's combed his hair back with oil.
Write it down, adding the brilliantine.
Lividity is consistent with hanging. The head is congested. Contusions are present on the head, chest, and thighs, consistent with stones thrown post-mortem. Low velocity.
Fucking low velocity? You think Kuno doesn't know what you're talking about? Velocity was fucking max.
No.
Talking shit about Kuno's velocity.
In addition, there are bite marks on the face, scalp, and chest, consistent with predation.
The lieutenant pays no heed. Write down, I am not giving the Kuno the help of... I'm not giving him high velocity, low velocity.
Ligature mark.
The lieutenant produces a small folding knife. With the other hand pulling on the belt, he starts cutting into the polyester. The stench is horrid. After a while, it's obvious the material cannot be cut.
The steel wiring. There's too much of it. We need to remove the belt so we can get to the ligature mark.
You got just the right tool for that. The chain cutters.
Oh yeah, I'm prepared to pet the chain cutters.
The hanged man lets out a joyous little bubble of rot from his nose.
Good thing we got these chain cutters. Pull out the rubber grip cutters.
Always good to think ahead. Now,
He points to the rope squeezing the dead man's neck.
we need to cut the belt to see the ligature mark below. Carefully, with as much precision as you can.
Precision.
See, my pig is gonna fuck his head off.
My pig? Wait, did they decide to assign themselves cops?
No, he ain't. Your pig's a boring fuck.
Oh, that's right. Kuno thinks he owns him. Look for a good spot to cut.
The belt is equally tight around the whole circumference of his neck, swelling over the edges like white bread rising from the east.
Ew.
The knot is the weak spot. The chain cutters fit in there. Steady now, like a flower arranger. 2 cuts and it should come loose.
Cut the belt off.
After some deliberation, you sink the cutters into the knot tying the belt together. You squeeze the rubber handles together, sweat forming on your brow.
Press down.
Snap! The knot is slashed. Another cut and the belt falls apart like a flower bouquet, revealing the dead man's neck and the dark red ligature mark around it.
The rope rises to a point, leaving a gap in the ligature mark. The suspension point is in the back of the neck.
The lieutenant has kneeled closer, running his finger along the dark red groove until there's a gap.
Hemorrhaging is observed on the skin, above and below the ligature mark. The mark is well pronounced, consistent with a drop from 1 or 1.5 meters.
Write it down.
Chest is intact, normal contour. Abdomen is protuberant, pelvis intact, genitalia.
He pulls down the man's underpants. Oh no.
No, it's gonna happen, see?
I knew he'd be excited about that.
I fucking knew it!
Genitalia is male and unremarkable. No evidence of injury.
I know this is gonna make them excited if I inspect the genitals, but I might be able to help in some way.
The dead man's penis is average-sized, congested from the downward collection of blood. The testicles are uneven in length. hanging underneath. The genitalia is greenish. Marbling is present around the crotch.
The descriptions in this game are certainly something. Write it down and move on.
Back is symmetrical and intact. Upper and lower extremities are intact, but asymmetrical. There are combat injuries on the right hand, thigh, and hip.
He struggles to turn the corpse on his side. Probably could have helped with that.
In addition, I see smaller, residual scars, too numerous to count, covering about 30% of his skin.
Write it down.
Last item, hands.
He takes the man's right hand in his, inspects it, then moves on to the other hand. Pick up the hand.
The hand feels heavy, filled with decay liquids, like it's ready to explode if squeezed hard enough. You're suddenly repulsed, so much so you feel compelled to drop it.
Hands are clean. No sign of injury from struggling.
The lieutenant says, as 5 cold, sausage-like fingers slip from your hand. Were we expecting any?
I was. Maybe I'm just not seeing them. Honestly, this stench is making it hard for me to think at the moment.
Write it down.
Ooh. That's all for the external. Well done. What next?
Internal examination summary. Stop it if any of this. Oh, yeah, and that's the other thing. I'm not going to have enough money to sleep in the room tonight, so I'm not really sure what I'm going to do tonight. As far as, like, sleeping.
Central nervous system. I have nothing. Do you have anything on this man's central nervous system?
Of course, there is a moral to be drawn from it. A moral to this story.
I'm not sure what... I want to see where this is going, though. If I may add the moral of this story.
What would that be?
He looks at you inquisitively.
The dead man looks, too, with barely contained excitement to hear the moral of his story.
The brain is very vulnerable to compromises in its blood supply. I mean, that is true.
I think that may well be the moral of every story, officer.
The lieutenant grins. I'll write NA.
Good. Musculoskeletal. Purge fluid is coming from the mouth. Not injury related. Eyes and tongue protuberant. Hyoid bone. Let's see.
He gets close to the mouth hole, eyes squinting from the stench.
With his eyes almost closed, the lieutenant puts his hand on the dead man's throat and begins to massage it, gently. A rotting smell erupts from the mouth. Purge fluid runs down his lips, black and viscous. You hear cracks as the lieutenant moves his sharp fingers inside the flesh, like the creaking of an old house at night.
Yeah, jack that fucker off!
Thank you for your input.
The hyoid bone is fractured. The rest of the musculoskeletal system is intact. Unremarkable.
Let's see. How's that important? I mean, it makes sense that throat bones might be compromised because of the hanging. Maybe that means there was enough force when when he was dropped that it broke the neck bone, and so maybe he died quicker than strangulation? Write it down.
Respiratory system.
Back hunched, as if in prayer, he begins to pry open the dead man's jaws. He stops to exert more force. Both hands are used.
Oral cavity shows no lesions. The victim has received dental implants, possibly after a combat wound. Mouth swollen, hemorrhaging present in mucosa of the lips and mouth.
Look inside the dead man's mouth.
No scream, no sigh of relief rises from the darkness inside. It's humid there. Sickly sweet air, unlike anything living. You feel like you're about to throw up again, straight in that mouth of his.
Look deeper inside.
It's hard. Once more, you taste stomach acid in the back of your throat. A contraction. Your throat pumps a little something from your stomach and into your mouth. You're forced to swallow, just to keep looking. Inside, you see darkness. Just a mess of meat and darkness.
Hemorrhaging present in mucus.
The lieutenant repeats impatiently. He lets go of the jaws. The mouth snaps shut in front of you. Write it down.
Hepatobiliary. NA.
Why don't we have anything?
Ah. Are you a hepatobiliary expert?
He looks at the corpse's stomach with a mixture of tiredness and disgust.
Hepato means liver, and biliary, the gallbladder and bile ducts.
Am I an expert in those things?
Nothing in your alcohol-soaked memory directs to having forensic expertise on either one.
I don't think so.
Neither am I.
And that's it?
That's it.
Right, NA.
Same for toxicology and serology. NA.
Both?
Unless you have untapped reservoirs of knowledge there?
Reservoirs? No, but do they take obscure trivia and odd tidbits?
Would the obscure tidbits and odd trivia fit in the fields?
No.
The completionist in me wonders if there's something we could still do.
Like a toxicology screening? At this stage, I doubt processing will find anything, even if he was brimming with cocaine. But still, you should add a request.
Write NA and add toxicology requested.
Cardiovascular. The body exhibits heavy lividity. Blood has gathered in the hands, feet, and neck. Hypostasis is visually consistent with the hanging.
Write it down.
Gastrointestinal.
He breathes a sigh of approaching relief. This is the last field on the list. He looks around to the ground, the pool of feces there.
This will do.
Digested semi-solid food in stomach. Voila.
He touches the corpse's bloated lower abdomen briefly. Write it down, and then you choosing whether to keep or omit the vola.
What's next on the list?
Description of injuries. Summary.
Let's see. We have bite marks, contusions on the head and chest, and a ligature mark encircling the neck. You'll need 3 fields. Leave a 4th one too.
Be thorough if you want maximum results.
Turn the page back.
The corpse lay slouched to the side, oblivious to its surroundings. The field autopsy form describes his state in
All right.
Be thorough if you want maximum results.
I think I'm being as thorough as I can be. 1. Bite marks.
Head, chest, and scalp bite mark injuries. Predation by birds has caused damage to the body. Odontologist does not need to be consulted.
Write it down.
And your opinion, officer?
Beneath the description, there are 2 boxes waiting to be checked. Opinion, fatal injury. B, non-fatal post-mortem. B.
Agreed. Next injury?
Contusions.
So, the scalp bleeds from a post-mortem head injury, a stone. The injury does not have the rim of an early inflammatory response. The perpetrator on the scene has confessed to causing it post-mortem.
At maximum velocity, fucko!
Has confessed to causing it at maximum velocity.
Write it down.
Coagulated blood sticks to his scalp and chest, where the countless stones have hit the dead man. Beneath, the description of injury. 2 boxes.
Non-fatal post-mortem.
Right. Next?
What's the 4th injury filled for?
Nothing. Just in case.
3. Ligature mark. Finish the autopsy.
A dark red abraded ligature mark encircling the neck, with a gap on the nape measuring, let's say, 7 centimeters. The hyoid bone is fractured, the cervical column intact. I see hemorrhaging on the skin, above and below the ligature mark. Depth of the mark, 1 centimeter. No signs of clawing on the neck.
Write it down.
Below the note, 2 customary boxes wait to be ticked. The man's head jerks to the side. The ring around his neck is visible. Think for a moment. There's time. Don't rush.
I mean, obvious answer would be fatal. But it could be non-fatal post-mortem. Either one of these could be valid. We don't really know. Opinion, fatal injury? I mean, that's what makes most logical sense.
That's it. We have established cause of death. It's not much, and it leaves much to be questioned. But it's a start.
He cracks an uneasy smile.
Let's wrap this up. I pronounce this field autopsy over.
He produces a small black plastic roll from his jacket, a body bag. First, how did it go?
Well, we established probable cause of death. Some would say that's the goal of an autopsy. We also requested a toxicological screening. That was thorough. The results should arrive in a couple of weeks, if we are lucky. I would not hold my breath.
What else?
We were thorough with the list of injuries, too. We described them all in detail. What is there to say? Given the circumstances, it was a professional field autopsy.
What now?
I need a copy of that autopsy form. Then I will drive him to Faubourg.
Whip out a copy of the autopsy pages.
For processing.
He looks at the dead man one more time, then at the slip of red paper in his hand, then at the corpse again.
You tilt your head, also looking at the corpse.
We're not going to take away the body yet.
Can I help you? Another thing. Great. I love... Yes?
Aren't we supposed to ask Art about... if he knows how the... yeah. Victim's clothes got into the trash. I don't see that as an option for us.
You see a heavy steel door with a prominent dimple lock. It's painted blue.
Try to push on the door.
The door does not budge.
I help you?
By the way, I'm going to sing karaoke here.
Absolutely out of the question.
Absolutely in the question. First we find a sad banger. Then we sing this place to shit. Your body is ready, sire.
Here's your trash container key.
Thanks. I hope you found what you were looking for.
I found the victim's clothes.
How strange. I certainly didn't put them there.
Could someone on your staff have put them there?
Sylvie had the keys before I got here, and I can vouch for her. I can vouch for all my staff. None of us would tamper with the crime scene.
Who else has keys to the trash container?
The trash collection service? CS Municipal. I don't see why they would put anything in the trash, though.
Ah, the elusive CS Municipal. I doubt we'll be able to track down who was sent here last and when. This will have to be one of those little threads that solves itself down the road. Thank you anyway.
Maybe you don't remember putting them there. Maybe you were sleepwalking or in a fugue state.
I think fugue states are more your forte, officer.
Yeah.
Yes?
I don't have a key to it anymore.
The door is closed.
So I have $10 and I need 130 in order to stay here. How are you supposed to get enough money? I mean, you could beg rich person. I wonder if you need to sleep inside. Can you just sleep on the bench? Is that not good enough? Or will that end up hurting me?
You're back. Good. What can I help you with?
Okay, this is volition. Which also means I have another health point morale.
That's the man who was killed. I'm afraid this is a discussion for once we've cleared the lynching question.
Do you know something about these tattoos? Show her the photo. She almost takes the photo, but then stops. So you know something about the tattoos?
Better not tie the fourth day to the bat's day on this. I hope there is something else I can help you with.
Can I have some money?
Voila, you're doing it.
Can I have some money, ma'am?
Of course. How much do you need?
I need 130 real.
That's a good sum. Not too small, not fantastically large.
She reaches into her raincoat and pulls out a zip bag. In it, you can see paper notes arranged like black gills.
She removes a few notes and hands them to you. The paper is cold and oily to the touch. There must be about 200 real in that zip bag, maybe a little less, plus some change at the bottom.
So, I hope I didn't just bribe you, officer. It may not be technically illegal under the Emergency Act, but still.
You bribed me all right. I'm your little peon now. I'm an honorable policeman, one of the few good men in Revachol. Funny that you worried about this and not the ruthless exploitation of the entire human race. I'm still getting my head around this whole money concept. You were just helping me out. I want to talk about something else now. I'm still getting my head around this whole money concept. You were just helping me out.
You're right, ma'am, that donations are permitted under the Emergency Act, unseemly as it may be, as long as they are properly logged with the precinct.
Which he most certainly will do. Now, how else can I help the RCM today, besides supplementing its salaries?
You seem smart. I need someone to give me a lowdown on this reality we're in.
This reality?
She pulls her head closer to around her neck.
Yes, reality is your side case. An experimental side case.
I'm conducting a personal investigation into the world I find myself in. It's related to that medical episode. I have trouble remembering even the most basic terms of reality. No time to explain, just give me the lowdown. Actually, no, it's not a good time for the reality lowdown. Maybe later. Conducting a personal investigation into the world I find myself in.
How truly curious. A sort of philosopher detective.
My theory is that this inquiry into the nature of reality will ultimately converge with our murder investigation. They are actually one and the same.
Are they now?
The lieutenant cocks one eyebrow.
A deep synthesis. I'll assist you however I can then. Go ahead. Ask.
Joyce is rich and willing to answer your questions. Ask one.
All right, we're in. I know these all look good, but begin with the first, okay?
Where are we?
We're in Martinez, baby.
Baby?
A casual term of endearment popular among the 50-plus crowd. It's a disco holdover, pay it no heed.
I'm a disco holdover myself.
Aren't we all?
She refers to your corresponding ages.
Mm-hmm. And what is a Martinez?
Martinez is a district of Revachol. A very small district tucked away near the industrial harbour, north of the 881 and Jamrock.
She looks around, her green raincoat flapping in the wind.
You would be excused for not knowing about it. Unimportant, they say. Forgotten, even. Shelled to smithereens during the Revolution. It has its charms, just not this time of year.
She shrugs. Tell me more about Martinez.
I'm not a good ambassador. I've only been here once before, as a teenager. Not a lot has changed.
She closes her eyes.
There are ruins, a terminal, fishing boats, reeds, boys with boxy shoulders.
Ooh.
This place used to be a province, a workers' resort before the city swallowed it and the artillery did its work. The reeds are the real star of the show here now. The further down the coast, the wilder it gets.
You mentioned a sea. What sea is this?
It's not really a sea, it's the Bay of Revachol. And the bay feeds into the ocean.
Are we near the ocean?
Yes. We're on an island in an ocean, the world's largest body of water, the Insulindic.
Known to the early Revacholians as Les Immensités Bleues, the Blue Immensities.
What's the name of this island?
Caillou, as you already know.
She looks to the water.
Imagine a pebble. A smoothed over pebble amidst a great blue sea, misshapen, cracked. The cracks are the river Esperance. We're in the delta of this river on the 6th branch, the Martinez distributary. Revachol? Revachol is what you call a city.
Okay, what is Martin? That's Martinez. What is Revachol? What kind of city is Revachol?
The great kind.
What makes Revachol great?
History detective. They built this city to resolve history. Our part in it, at least. Our centuries.
Okay, who built the city?
The nations of the Occident, or migrant workers from Seminine and Ile Marat, depending on your creed.
When was Revachol built?
In the DeLorean century. 380 years ago.
And why will it resolve history?
They say it's where the terrible questions of our time will be answered. The tensions are highest, the fault lines deepest. By that I mean conflicts. Ideological conflicts. The stuff of men.
Why here?
We are standing on a fertile, self-sufficient island able to sustain up to 200 million people in the middle of the Insulindic Ocean, the world's connective tissue. It's where the money is.
She smiles. So we're an unimportant part of an important place. So we're pretty much at the center of the world. So we're in the proprietary, basically nobody. So we're an unimportant part of an important place.
I think it's fair to say so. Martinez is about...
She points across the water where the skyscrapers rise.
A sparkle of lights on the horizon, like evening stars above the curvature of the planet.
22 kilometers from the center of the world. That soldering iron is the bank of the world building. The bottom floors are Insiacom. Coalition government, Insulindian Mission Command.
Look to the sea.
Silence. She lowers her hand. The water, the light. It's as though you're seeing it for the first time. There is no recognition, only the immensity of the sea and the cold radiating from it.
Where are we?
We are where we are. I have no truer answer to give, unfortunately.
She watches you closely as you scan the horizon.
This is one thought you need to complete. Where are you?
Was there something else you wanted to know? I remember something about a lowdown.
This has been informative. Thank you, ma'am. I'm sure my memory-impaired partner has many more questions to ask, about even more fundamental aspects of reality. Might I suggest not asking them all right now? Madame Messier will be here later too, and tomorrow. Isn't that true, ma'am?
Absolutely. My commitment here is long-term.
You're right, Lieutenant. I'll continue later.
It's better not to eat all your candy at once.
Indeed. I'm always at your service.
That's all for now.
Glad to have been of assistance. The little that I know. Anything...
Okay. So now I have money. Stay the night inside. Not sure if I can spend the night on the bench, but I guess we don't need to find out. Which is probably nice. That bench over there. I was gonna stick my papers in the halogen lights, but let's make sure I pay off my debt so I actually have somewhere to stay tonight, because that would be good to do.
Can I help you?
So about that money I owe.
Yes. Have you got it?
I have your money.
Well?
Here it is. Sorry for the trouble.
Great. Thank you, officer. That's all I wanted. Payment for services rendered. If you continue to stay here, I just ask that you please pay your nightly bill in advance starting tomorrow. I'll unlock the electronic lock to your room. all the doors lock automatically at 9 p.m. Please pay for each night in advance starting tomorrow. 20 real per night.
I'll take a room here too.
He opens his wallet.
Of course. Always happy to have officers from the RCM as guests. Anything else I can do for you?
He takes the money and hands him a key ring. Oh, I do not need a drink. You need to find 20 real to pay for your room at the Whirling, or it will be locked after 9. As long as you don't have a free place to stay, you have to do this every night. So I want a free place to stay, but at least
Hey, so we've been monitoring you internally, and now we know your Copo type.
Wait, there are capo types?
Yes. Guess what's yours?
Sorry, cop? I'm sorry, I'm not sure.
Yes, sorry cop. The cop who's sorriest. Let's make it official then, shall we?
Okay, but what are the other capo types?
Oh, you know. Apocalypse, Superstellar, the Advanced Interesting Cop, Liquid Shadow Cop. But you're too sorry to say those things. So, here we go?
Aw. And won't the other capo types be jealous?
What? Jealous of the sorry cop? I think they'll be fine. Don't worry. They'll be super, super fine. It'll be totally okay. You can dual Copo type from sorry to anything.
I'm sorry.
Of course you are. It's okay. See if you can get something out of this, like info. Or maybe every time you say you're sorry, you get $1 million. That won't happen.
It'd be helpful, though. Rigorous self-critique. Sorry, piece of cop pennant, a flagellant cop monk. This is not the right line of work for you. You should be groveling at the feet of a feudal lord, providing lurid evidence against yourself at a Mazorian show trial, or ripping the flesh from your back with a cat of 9 tails. Whatever made you this way, you can be damned sure it was your own fault. Do it. Really criticize yourself. Who knows? You might uncover something of importance from your guilt-ridden past. Jamis Vu, derealization. Revachol Special Administrative Region, Lake Caillou, the Insulan Ocean, Coalition Government, Insularian Mission Command. Name after name, and none of them is familiar. They seem real, but something is wrong. You feel like a kid looking at stickers on the fridge. Truvant, the Apricot Company, World Games 34. You can almost see your hand reaching out for them. Scratch at the corners, see if they peel loose. This feels like the most important of all the thoughts, the one you truly must complete. Okay. Well, I'm almost done with this. Let's finish this. Might get rid of Lonesome Long Way Home. That doesn't actually seem that useful. I'm not planning on taking any speed. Deep breathe. After 22. Okay. So let's see if I can find out what my name is on. Oh. That's right. So I am gonna start making sure to stop recording before the end of the hour so that all my videos are less than an hour long, just to make it easier to watch, because I've noticed it's harder to move around the video if it's over an hour. It like takes longer to load. So thank you. See you next time.